Congratulations on the environmental awards. You were in amongst some very big guns, if I may say so, from the industry, and you prevailed.
Yeah, no, it's impressive to see us get up against people like MAN, and for a small sort of player like Royston and the enginei team, it was good to win through.
And why do you think there's been such an uptake of enginei?
Well, right now, for the last couple of years, our biggest growth market, despite the oil price, has been the offshore market. And that's been driven, one, by vessel operators looking at fuel monitoring and trying to have a competitive advantage to tender for contracts that their competitors might not be. But also, our biggest growth area has been places like West Africa, where we've invested a lot of time and effort there. The likes of Chevron, ExxonMobil, some of the smaller oil companies there are starting to implement fuel monitoring. So if you want a contract with Exxon, you have to have a fuel monitoring system. And that's more to sort of manage control the fuel usage in those types of marketplaces rather than sort of efficiency, which may be something that in the North Sea you're looking at more efficiency type generations. But Africa, places like that, fuel control. So that's been a big boom market for us, and we've invested in the local marketplace, and it's kind of it's done us well for the last couple of years.
Now, you're not alone in chasing that market or making that sales argument. So what is it about your approach and technology that differentiates you?
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing this for several years now. We were not one of the first on the market, but we were certainly one of the first players there. When I first started with a company and we were out knocking on doors, there was interest, but it was more sort of tire kicking rather than sort of serious interest. And we just plugged away at it. We've invested in the product. We've taken on more R&D people. We've worked with the customers and gone out and said, what do you need in the marketplace? And just taking opportunities when they arose. Now, the good thing about being a small company is we can kind of move quite quickly. We can be flexible. There's a lot of companies out there doing something similar now with the hardware. What we're trying to sort of offer is our history and the fact that we come from a diesel engineering background. Royston Limited is a diesel engineering company, so we kind of bring that to the table rather than sort of maybe coming from a software background. But we've got a lot of smart people on the team, and we all kind of come together and work very hard day in, day out to produce a product that we're proud of and that the operators and owners want to purchase and buy into.
Where do you expect to take the technology tomorrow?
So right now, last year we actually won some funding, a couple of £1 million, to look at a energy management project, so an Innovate project. And basically, that's a 3-year project where we're looking at complete energy management of a vessel. So anything that burns engine, from HVAC to accommodation, lighting, we can measure that, monitor it, and we'll be building algorithms as how that can be managed and monitored. We're also looking at torque management. We're looking at trim, weather, CO2 emissions. We now have MRV, which is a new regulation coming in that we're hoping, where we have certain operators maybe sitting on the fence a little bit with, do we purchase hardware, do we automate the system, or do we continue to do it manually through the crews? Maybe MRV and new regulations may push people over the edge to sort of say, let's invest and automate the system and streamline the process and take this sort of reliance off the crew of doing these sort of new regulations that are coming in.
And in receiving the award, you paid quite a personal tribute to the team. Politics
has become a big talking point again, which is a good thing in the world at the moment. And Brexit, as you know, has kind of been on everyone's minds for some time. And I work with some fantastic people, like I said in my speech. Our technical manager's Iranian. I work with some really smart Bangladeshi guys, someone from the Seychelles, Nigerians, Indians, as well as the Brits. And that's important to us. And like I say, fantastic team. We all work together and produce a good product, and we're all just going to work to get paid and support the families and everything else. So I don't know why. I just felt like I had to sort of say something, and I knew this industry. I hoped it would take it quite well, being that we're such a global village. And it seemed to go down quite well. So.